Georgia is a buyer beware state. What does that mean to you, and what have you seen that's gone wrong? Or I don't think people believe me when I say that it is kind of the wild, wild west.
Why don't you shut up? You shut up.
Sure, people ethically should disclose things they know about the home. Should is the operative word here. I mean, should is not the law.
Yeah. So we have two different types of disclosures that get filled out at foreclosing at listing. One is like an investor. If an investor in a state, someone who had no idea, they can't tell you anything about property because they may never have even stepped foot in the property. So we have one disclosure statement that really says nothing. It says, I don't know unless they like put the roof on themselves. Yep. It really doesn't talk about anything. And then we have a whole nother one for a seller who really did live in the property and they should know, would know, could know. But it only has certain items listed: termite, which is
septic, hot water heater, HVAC,
roof when it was replaced.
Yeah, but any services that have been done to the property, which is what I discussed in a previous video about septic. Like if a homeowner has owned a home for 10 years and they don't have any records of the septic being pumped, red flag, watch the other video.
It's me. Personally.
Anyway, so buyer beware. Again, what are some other instances where you've seen that you were just kind of hard to believe? You got any that come to mind?
I had one that was like, so chimney. It was one that there's not really anything on there about the chimney. So with the chimney situation, they discovered that they had a crack in the chimney after the people had purchased the chimney. So there are not that many chimney companies in Georgia. There just aren't.
Yeah.
So they called the chimney company. The guy's like, oh yeah, I came out of this, this summer. I was out here looking at this chimney and I told him the house was unlivable in the chimney situation as it is.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, so there was like smoke coming in. So basically they hired the same company, and that is really the only way you can catch people in a lie. Is you have to find that they hired the same company and the company told them X. We told them to fix this and then they didn't disclose. Otherwise, it's really hard in Georgia to prove that the seller knew about something. How do you prove someone's knowledge? Because they can be like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It's so easy for a seller to basically say, I just don't know. And it is crazy, and people don't understand the buyer beware dynamic. It means get inspections and ask questions and do your own due diligence, put in the work beforehand so you don't pay for it later. Right. That is the key.
If you find something wrong, you can always extend due diligence. So if you find like an issue and you're like, ooh, maybe we need to get an engineer to check out this retaining wall or something like that, anything that has a red flag, extend due diligence and get a professional to come look at it, because the seller does not have to tell you anything. They're supposed to if they have knowledge of it. But again, how do you prove knowledge? And even if you did sue a seller, what if they have nothing?
Yeah.
I have someone who's they sue a seller right now, and the seller is in a different state. No. So that makes it more difficult to serve them and then also collect from them. So it's better to get a great home inspection.
All the things. Yeah, so here's an example, and this is a word to the wise to sellers. If there are sellers watching this video, I want to tell you how buyers of mine just walked away from a transaction because the seller was noticeably, I want to say fibbing, noticeably not disclosing. After we did inspections about moisture in the basement and things, she said, oh, well, I got an estimate for that, but that was never disclosed. There was leaking in the shower. She had estimates to get that repaired and never disclosed any of that stuff to us. So the red flags were just going off for my buyers, and they said, you know what? I just don't feel good about this transaction, and I'm not going to make the biggest purchase of my life with somebody who's not being forthright with the information. So to sellers, you can try and lie your way out of it, but I gotta tell you, buyers these days, they aren't having it. There are more choices and nobody wants to get stuck with a lemon. So disclose away and be honest, and it will come through in your sales price. I cannot address that enough.
I have the funniest story about that, about a seller's, like what they said, and then the buyers walked. The buyers are at a closing table and they're like, we're glad we're buying your house because we had an offer on another house, but we were researching the sellers, and the sellers on Facebook put, oh great, we finally got rid of the money pit. They put the money pit on Facebook, that they got rid of the money pit.
Yeah.
So
people are stalking everywhere. You have to be careful of what you're saying. But if you're just honest to begin with, like at least then hopefully you sleep well at night and things go through. I mean, if something's wrong, just disclose it. They're gonna find out about it anyways. They're just gonna be more mad if they have to spend $300 to do an inspection to find out. Do yourself a favor and just say it.